Ah, Lucretia! I failed you!
You're listening to the MagCast.
Alright,
Okay.
So today, Faye will not be with us because she is having internet problems, but she encouraged us to go ahead and go on with the episode. So
We'll see
We're
how
gonna-
well that goes.
yeah,
We'll do our best without our fearless leader.
right. Sarcasm. But in place of Faye, we have Sarah's Knight with us. So
Sarah's night. Sarah's night.
Welcome, SK.
SK. So we still got a full roster this week, just without.
Got a full
Our-
score with this.
Oh God, no.
That's somewhere around.
Sorry,
80
SK.
points.
With you here, it's on the mind.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, it's such a good game, but yeah. So here we go.
Now, the first story is actually an odd story. So again, Peter Molyneux. Who cares, right? I mean, he lied about us, or he lied to us about Fable. He lied to us about Fable 2, Fable 3. He said the Fable Connect game that he actually left the studio after it released. He said it's not on Rails. It is on Rails. He said it's actually okay. Real quick, that Connect game, it's a Fable game about riding an imaginary horse while shooting out magical powers on Rails.
I am shaking my head in such disappointment.
Yeah,
But you can't see
yeah.
it. Just know that I am.
But just know it's happening. Anyway, so
Right.
he left the studio. He created a new company, and he announced his first game, Curiosity, saying it will change the world. Curiosity. So
oh, I
it's-
know that game.
yes,
That's the
So
giant cube thing, right?
yes, it's a giant cube made up of cubes. Basically, it's a pixelated cube,
Right.
and the game works. It's a cell phone game, probably iOS. I didn't look into that part because honestly, I'm never going to play it, so I don't care.
Right. Well,
Right.
actually, the concept of the game is
Yeah.
interesting. It's not like I wouldn't call it a game. It's just kind of a dick around kind of
Yeah.
thing to kind of interact with. It's about
They charge money for it though,
Yeah.
so that's where my first issue is they charge money for
Right.
Curiosity.
It's about as much of a game as like say Silly Putty or Slinky. You know, you just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
play with it.
And he says this will
Just something
change
to
the
do.
world.
All right, so get this.
So-
It's a giant cube, right? And it fits on your screen, but you can start pinching. You know how you pinch to zoom in on a lot of touch screen
Touch
interaction.
devices.
Right.
Well, you can just start zooming in until it is actually a massive cube. It is gargantuan. And if you look at it right now, it looks kind of like, it's got like this black thing with a bunch of green, kind of looks like if someone would have splatter paint or if it were slowly corroding away from acid or something. It's because when you zoom all the way in, there's like millions of these itty bitty black squares and you tap them and they disappear, revealing what's underneath. And nobody knows what's underneath. Everybody connects to this one cube. Like hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're all pecking away at these
Thousands.
little cubes, just trying to uncover what's under this thing, right? And like people take corners, and eventually,
And they draw shapes.
yeah, and draw shapes, and there's like someone like taking the time to write, insulting things across it.
Yes.
But, and it's a huge thing, like, because when you zoom out, it looks like a smooth image, like everything that's taken chunks out of. But when you zoom in, you find out it's actually all made out of blocks, so. But apparently once you uncover it, that becomes a new layer. And you get under that. And you get under that until eventually you find out what's in the cube or whatever.
No,
But it's gonna take.
The interesting thing is only one player gets to hit the final block. That one player that hits the final block and clears it is the only person that sees what is inside.
Then what
That is
is the
that
point?
is the thing that makes it world changing,
Well, no,
as he puts
I
it.
heard that the person that gets the last one gets something special because there is upgrades. The game keeps track of how many blocks you've broken, and you can actually combo and get more of this currency, right? Which you can turn in to buy like pickaxes or momentary buffs that can take out groups of blocks, and so like if you were actually trying to be the last person to clear the cube, you could save these buffs to like the last few cubes and just try to spam it. It's again, it's about as much of a game as freaking a Rubik's cube, but whatever.
So now that you know what curiosity is, the interesting thing is, of course, Peter Molyneux, he puts out a game. What does he do next? He apologizes. So, the apology this time around is a surprise. It's with a twist. You wouldn't expect this apology. He actually had to say sorry for the servers being overwhelmed. There are more players than he expected. This game that he thought would change the world, that he thought everybody would be playing, more people are playing it than he expected.
Wow.
So the servers are inaccessible to many, many players.
Do I cry or commend him?
So you do both because both are related. So you got to applaud the man because he actually, did what he set out to do. He made money.
Yeah, I want to applaud him with one hand across his face.
One closed hand. Closed-handed applause.
One closed-handed applause.
I bet that the dark heart.
I'm just surprised that he's apologizing for not being able to handle the many players that want to play this game. And I'm hurt that many players are playing this game.
Yeah. Don't support Peter Molyneux. This is the dude that put out Fable.
Well, no, that put out Fable 2 and 3 and the Connect.
Well, I meant the Fable series. Fable 1 was a good game. I liked it.
Yes.
But even then, you have to admit, Fable 1 was a huge lie. 120 hours to beat the game. That's just simple.
And one thing I was watching for, because I pre-ordered the game at GameStop and got that DVD, the early behind-the-scenes stuff.
Right.
I was waiting to see that the character actually grew up, but they couldn't do the grow up. They couldn't code that correctly. They couldn't write it in correctly. So what they ended up doing was just boom, all of a sudden you're an adult. And they were trying to say how they're coding in all this stuff, and they showed examples of it where at different stages of life, where he's a child to an adult, that they actually had to code him reaching for the doorknob. Not once in Fable do I remember him actually ever grabbing and turning a doorknob like they showed in those free things. So if that got cut, all the other features that they were talking about, of course, are also going to get cut.
Well,
obviously. That's a big surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you expect? It's Peter Molyneux.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But that was my first experience with him. I actually did not get Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3. I waited because I was like, screw that game. I'm going to be all about Fable. Then Fable came out and I went and got Morrowind.
Curiosity. I bet at the center of that block is the dark heart of Peter Molyneux. And you'll get a choice. You can either kill him or become him.
Wow.
So it's like Sin of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Wow.
So has anybody even made it to the center yet?
No one.
Oh,
the
not
first
even
layer
close.
is still not even off. Like the first layer.
It's probably going to be over a year.
Like seriously, the first layer isn't even gone yet. Last I checked, like it was maybe like a third open, maybe. And this is what the server's packed.
Yeah.
And it's been out for what? How long?
Almost a month. Right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
This doesn't even sound like a game.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
Let's see.
I mean,
like
honestly,
a project.
Yeah, it itself is a curiosity, and it's not, it's not a game. But moving on, because I'm sick of him. I just don't like the man. I don't like talking about him. I don't like, I don't like that we've talked about him for 10 minutes. So Silicon Knights are ordered to destroy all unsold copies of games that they own running the Unreal 3 engine.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
That
about this.
includes 2 Human, X-Men Destiny, The Sandman, the Box/Ritualist, which I don't know if that's like it released with 2 different titles in different regions or if that's the name. I never even heard of that one. And Siren in the Maelstrom. So it all started in 2007 because Silicon Knights was using the Unreal 3 engine to
Right.
make 2 Human, and 2 Human sucked. It didn't sell, and they blamed Epic for sending out unfinished versions of the Unreal 3 engine so that Epic could release Gears of War. They could get the income for selling it and fund Gears of War, and also they could release Gears of War and showcase the finished Unreal Engine instead of what other people have been sold.
Right.
So 5 years later, Silicon Knights lost, and they've already lost. I mean, those
Yeah.
games that we listed sucked and didn't sell.
Dude, I would be glad to help them get rid of 2 Human.
Yes, I would as well. 2 Human was horrible. I was excited when it came out. I really was genuinely
I
excited.
know you were.
Okay, can I interrupt for like a moment to
Please.
ask what
Absolutely.
Human is about? I've never
What?
heard of this. What's it about?
Don't bother.
Whatever. Okay.
Really?
I guess you'll tell me sometime
Uh,
after the.
Lantis, could you please explain what 2 Human is?
Well,
Other than a disappointment.
I was about to say that's all it really is.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, I'm fine with that explanation. Let's just continue.
Okay. So today they only have 5 employees, and now they're ordered to pay. I don't know what the number is, but I think it's like $4 million to Epic for Epic's countersuit, I suppose. And not only that, but they have to pay the costs of shipping all those games back to their distribution center and destroying them.
I don't understand why they have to destroy their games, though.
Because they are no longer licensed to sell a game with the Unreal 3 engine.
Yeah, and do
Oh,
you blame
so-
Epic?
Well, I mean, so
Like-
they could just take that back?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
And it,
this is a really interesting opportunity though for video game collectors, because 2 Human, X-Men Destiny, Sandman, all those games are no longer for sale. And they're
Yeah.
actually ordered to be destroyed. Even though they suck, an unopened copy of these games is going to be very expensive, hard to find, and if you do find it, will be expensive.
Yeah.
and GameStop will do what they did with the first Disgaea. They will open them all up and sell them as used as a higher, because they did that at their warehouses. They don't say they did it, but I know someone that worked at a warehouse and told me so. They were told to open a pallet that they had of Disgaea, open every single game, and then ship it out as used copies to GameStop.
Huh.
That way they could sell it as $80 instead of the new price of $40.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
you know that's all GameStop will do. GameStop will do that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Wow. That's dirty.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
sucks.
dirty.
And I thought Norrit was crooked. The company I work at. I thought, wow.
Right.
that's
I don't think they've ever employed a shady tactic like that at my workplace. Wow. in order to get products sold. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since GameStop is no longer allowed to sell those games, they're probably going to just start ripping them open and selling them as used. And so that's that. In a quick little note, Xbox 360 update that just came out this month, they didn't even mention, but it does this. You can now use up to 32 gigabytes of USB storage.
And I find that really funny because that is by far the best update that is
Yes.
involved, aside from everything else that you know was changed, which was pretty terrible.
Which was just
Yeah.
to make it so that it can use smart glass and to make it so it's an easier
Oh, and don't forget Internet Explorer!
yes, Internet Explorer. There are few occasions where you do actually want a web browser on your TV. If you don't have a smart TV that can do it, if you don't have a PC connected to your TV,
Guilty.
there are some times because there are times where you want to stream media because you have people over, be it music or TV shows, movies, where you want to stream it because you have people over and whatnot. So I find having a browser useful, but still, I mean, a lot of things are not supported So anyway, I'm not going to get too far into it, but yeah.
Right.
I have been playing with Smart Glass though, and while I must say Smart Glass is not where it should be, and it's not, and that's not necessarily their fault entirely. They have to make it so it can run on many, many devices. I'm actually running it on a Nexus 7, and if you go to the Google store for using the Nexus 7, they'll straight up tell you that it's not compatible with the device. So you have to go and download it from a third, from a website somewhere. I'm not going to say where I got it because it is not something you're supposed to do apparently. But I've been using it, and it is nice. It is a good thing to have, especially while watching media. You can use it as a touchpad. You can use it as a virtual keyboard to type anything in. It has all the buttons there, so you can navigate the menus.
Just
it's pretty cool.
I cannot stand tactileless keyboards. Those things drive me up the freaking wall.
But for people that want to use their cell phones quickly, because they already have that, it's not buying a new device. You just install Smart Glass.
Yeah, which is smart.
You now have a remote control for your Xbox for your media usage. I'm not saying use it in games, but as far as games go, now that opens up a bit more options for smaller developers. They can release arcade titles that utilize Smart Glass in smart ways. The smartest way being buzz-in games. So now you have quiz show games, and you have your cell phone or your tablet in front of you with all your answers. You can also do Jeopardy. You can write in on Jeopardy now, because they did just release Jeopardy on Xbox 360.
Wait.
Oh,
you
really?
can draw with the answer with your hand?
I'm saying that's how developers should take this.
Let's say I have horrible penmanship. That probably wouldn't ever work for me.
No, not
Okay.
for you.
Yeah, but it could work if another player is playing Alex Trebek.
Wait. Why would you'd play as the host?
I'm saying you could. I'm not saying this is a thing.
Oh.
I'm saying it just brings you new possibilities.
I've heard
Alright.
of games where people play the host before.
Yeah, exactly. And also another game is I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a Star Trek bridge simulator. This is a way to bring it to the Xbox. It's 6 players all running their own PCs. Everybody has a display where if you're the science officer, you have the display for that. If you're the tactical, you have display for that. You have control of weapons. You have 5 people with screens and displays in front of you, and the 6th person has nothing except for the big screen ahead of them, which in this case would be the television.
Huh.
The television is the what's that called? The viewport. You know.
You're right.
Okay,
Right.
so what you're saying is
that person is the captain, and they tell everybody else what to do. And you fight people, you support allies. It's a game right now on PC that requires 6 PCs and 6 monitors and all that. They're porting it to iOS right now so that it can work on iPads.
Oh, that would be
because
kinda
iPad
interesting.
environment is great. It would work well there, but now it can come to environments like the Xbox with Smart Glass.
Just throwing this out there real quick. If you wanted this kind of experience, but single player, try out Faster Than Light. Did we ever talk about that game?
Yes. We have not. I
Okay.
actually just bought it. I have not played it yet.
It's good. It's good.
Is
I
it?
think next week we might actually end up talking about that. I like Faster Than
Okay,
Light.
I'll play it for sure.
Yeah, do
I
it.
bought it on Steam, but I haven't played it yet. I bought like 8 games that day,
Right.
and it's still down the list. Plus, I just signed up for Good Old Games, and they give you 10 free games just for signing up for a free account. So I have those games to look at too.
DRM free games.
Love it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Love it. You can get Faster Than Light from Good Old Games as well, I believe.
Wow, that's good. I like that.
So yeah. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but I think that Smart Glass has a lot of room to really take the system somewhere, especially in the next iteration of the console.
So basically, it's kind of like Nintendo's tablet, except you can have more than 2.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody that's there, and plus, if you're using Kinect, which I know not many of us do, I think I'm the only person here that actually owns one. I bought it
You
day
are.
one.
I
Yeah,
wanted
but-
one, but I could never get around to getting one because it's so dang expensive.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it really is. I had to buy my 4th Xbox, so I was like, well, I might as well buy the Kinect bundle.
You and your Xbox.
So-
Wait, your Xbox is red ringed that often?
No,
Some of them,
he likes.
but I have 2 in the office that I'm in right now and 1 in the living room.
Oh.
Yeah.
The 2 in the office work mostly, but they have some quirks that it's too annoying. Sometimes they'll freeze, stuff like that. Because they're the first generation Xboxes, you know? Now the Slim model doesn't have any of those quirks as of yet, and I've had it for 2-3 years.
Dude,
I don't know.
I've had my Xbox, which is an old model, since Left 4 Dead came out. And it hasn't red ring. And on top of that, I bought it used off of Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
I know. Mine's a little trooper. I am really happy with it.
Seriously.
Does it ever
Congratulations on that.
Well, it seems mostly freeze on certain games.
Because mine has frozen a few times.
Mine seems to do it only on certain games, and I kind of want to think that's the game's fault, not the Xbox. I don't know.
Oh.
But
I've noticed that too with specific games, but then moving on to another game, I don't see it happening. So
yeah.
I'm torn about what's actually causing it.
Right,
I don't know.
right.
So EA guys, we're typically not fans of EA. Yeah.
Just an instinctive reaction from X.
Exactly. That was my point. I was hoping somebody would do that.
I was staying my tongue.
It's kind of like whenever
Yeah.
somebody mentions Square nowadays. It's
Boo!
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're not huge fans.
Actually, after Parasite E3, my reaction is kind of a bleh!
Wow. I didn't play that game. I didn't watch any.
I never
LPs.
played
I
it
just heard-
either.
I heard your guys' opinions and was like, nope.
I've got an hour and 20-minute review you can watch.
And dude, I mean, it says it all.
It does.
Wow, that's intense. But yeah, so EA and Origin. People hated on Origin. I understand why. It's made by EA. EA is pretty, shady in their business practices. Like one of the biggest things that they've done was they said, hey, great, you got a game funded on Kickstarter. Why don't you give us the rights to that game and give us the money you got, and we will publish it?
Mm-hmm.
So that was blatant stealing that they're trying to do. Legal stealing is what they were trying to accomplish. And anyway, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have Origin. If people don't know what Origin is, it is the thing that I had to download so I could buy SimCity. I'm so excited for SimCity that I downloaded and installed Origin. But it's essentially EA's Steam. And I can't be mad at them because Valve, a game publisher, has Steam. And sometimes Steam has issues. Like Galactic Civilizations on Steam sucks. There are no video options. It has a really low resolution, yet it has to be full screen, and
so it looks
frustrating.
Like crap.
Yes, you can't take the game out anyway. Yeah. So anyway, Origin is doing something I actually am excited to see.
Yeah.
They're allowing you to directly stream within the Origin application without any finagling with fancy technical things. You can stream directly to Twitch, whatever game you are playing through Origin.
Take that, Sopa.
Not just games you buy on Origin, but you can say, hey, I have this Steam game, but I want to run it by opening Origin and basically shortcutting it, just like you can do in Steam already. And have Origin bring it up and handle launching it. Once Origin launches the game runs normally. Origin is just in the background collecting whatever data that they collect, because they're collecting data. And you can now stream directly to Twitch. There aren't a lot of options in this first iteration of it. You can use just the game that's on screen and your microphone, and that's it. So it's not XSplit by any means.
Oh, so you couldn't do all your fancy... Cool. Well, and maybe that's to get a lot more people into live streaming.
And it's their first step.
Right.
Yeah.
Besides, someone just getting into streaming is not really going to go all out and make all these different scenes and scenarios to set up in freaking XSplit so that it looks as professional as possible.
Are you mocking me? Because I literally did that.
Yeah, no, I'm not mocking you. I'm congratulating you for that. You should have done that. But not everybody's going to have the know-how and the will to do that. I mean, you did.
Well, it wasn't know-how. I actually had to play with it and figure things out.
Oh, all right, you
but
needed
also, I think,
the effort to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons they're not doing anything fancy with it yet is because it's their first iteration, like I said. So that just means they need proof that it's worth putting money into.
Right.
Are people going to be using Origin now because of this capability? So people who don't want to play with XSplit, who don't want to mess with settings, who don't want to learn anything about it, Origin is a good way to go. You just open Origin, open a game, and stream.
Assuming
that's
the
awesome.
games on Origin are games that you're interested in.
Well, like I said, it's not just games on Origin. You can use Origin to shortcut to another game you already have installed.
So you could just use Origin just for streaming. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just freaking XSplit. Or freaking just go to Twitch yourself. And
yeah, but there you still have to use some program on your side. So Origin's a good way to introduce yourself to streaming, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
And is anybody here excited about the Surface tablets? Microsoft's tablets. They just released the RT Windows 8 Surface tablet, and next year they're releasing the full Windows Surface tablet. Anybody?
I really wish I had the audio for a cricket chirping right now.
Yeah, crickets. Okay, so I actually am. I'm excited about tablets. I have the Nexus 7. It's wonderful. I think tablets are a great experience. I think that it's. I know you don't like it.
Okay, apparently Lantis disagrees.
I have my TV in the other room. My PC has its own room. I mean, my office is where the computer lives, and that's its place. So for me, having a tablet is great because now I can, casually browse the web. I can casually do things. And these tablets are very powerful, the new tablets that are coming. So I'm excited about the new Surface tablet, not the RT release that they just did, because that one is kind of a walled garden. It's a weaker tablet. I'm not going to go into it because we're not about tablets right now.
Right.
But this story is, Microsoft is rumored to be making an Xbox edition of that tablet, where it will be an economical version of the Surface line of tablets. And
define economical.
Basically, it'll be locked into the Xbox experience. It will have high-speed RAM, and it'll have the graphical power, but it won't have 3G or anything like that. It'll only have Wi-Fi. It'll have hardware taken out of it that is not necessary outside of the Xbox experience. So essentially, it will be the gamepad for the Wii U.
Again,
but for Microsoft.
But this will be like the precursor to maybe the next gen of Xbox.
Very likely, and also it will be running full Windows 8.
Yay!
So it's still a tablet. And I know you guys hate on Windows 8, but I'm telling you, it is an interesting take on removing the start button. All of Windows 8 is the start button is gone, and what do you get out of that? And in a touch environment on a tablet, it is wonderful.
Than just taking away the start button. The way they changed
without a start button, and in a touch environment, that's what this is.
They moved so many things, and they actually kind of divided a lot of how settings and programs, the way things are interacted with, like. You know how most of your browsing through your computer is handled through Windows Explorer?
Yes.
They took that away in a lot of cases where you have to navigate this new type of like windowed mode where the entire screen's just like this solid color and all the items are just kind of around, and finding out where everything is was an absolute pain. And I still don't fully understand how to freaking navigate through it. I spent several hours playing on Windows 8, the pre-release candidate.
The release candidate? Yeah.
And it's just that if they're actually going to make an operating system out of that, they're going to have to spend another 2 years in development on that before it's going to be anywhere near usable.
And Windows 8 released last month. But anyway,
so it sounds kind of like an incomplete
I agree
OS.
With you.
Yeah.
It's not an incomplete OS.
It's just a piece of crap.
No. It is a very unfamiliar experience. And after watching a lot of videos about from people who spent days delved into this thing, and they showed me some shortcuts, they showed me some other things, I had wished I didn't uninstall my release candidate so that I could still play with it a little bit and see if I actually want. I'm not going to upgrade my Windows 7 desktop, but just so I'm familiar with it.
Well, let's not get into that, because I would be able to argue over Windows 8 all day long.
Forever.
Yeah, that's true.
But, It's just, I don't know. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
Cute crickets. Alright, well, I guess, to move this along, there was an interesting story that, released not too long ago, where a father of a 3-year-old girl, took the entire game, Zelda Wind Waker, and hex edited all the text, so that any reference to Link was, swapped his gender from, male to female. Because, apparently...
Oh, so that it would appeal to
his 3-year-old
to his
girl.
daughter.
So
Yes, and because all the games that they were playing have male heroes, and he wanted her to feel that it can be a female hero as well.
Oh, that's nice.
then he should have got a hold of Metroid,
Right?
Well,
or Heavenly Sword, or
Though
Bayonetta.
I
those
don't
games are
think-
a little bit advanced.
I don't think Heavenly Sword would have liked
No.
a girl, who actually kills people.
Oh, come on, Bayonetta. That would have taught her something really...
Everybody's just laughing at
Oh,
Bayonetta.
no, I got it. They could have played, Wand of Gamelon. That's a female.
Oh, no.
You
Well,
killed me!
The
Good.
key thing is you have to be able to play it, and I'm not sure if that's really possible.
Fair enough. No.
You,
But,
you know,
no, I think that it's, an interesting gesture. I thought that was a little bit more effort than what is involved. You could just, because apparently what he was doing is just reading the dialogue out loud as they played through the game together. I don't
Right.
think a 3-year-old's gonna sit there and be like, Dad, you're not reading that right.
Yeah.
Spending
I
the
can't
time
read.
to rip an ISO of the game and hex edit it so it actually said that is a little
Now
much.
remember, it's not simply changing he to she. The lines that that text is in still have to add up.
Yeah. Each block of data in the game has a certain value, and that value cannot change since the game is like finished and compiled or whatever. So taking he and adding an S to it offsets the value of that text string so that it wouldn't actually run. So he actually had to get creative and make it to where the text strings still had the same amount of characters, so the hex value was still the same, and it be compiled back into, the game and run it on. Yeah, he couldn't actually run the disk. He had to run the hacked ISO on the Dolphin, the GameCube emulator.
Right.
Right.
So again, a lot of effort for kind of
A little return.
right, but
And-
But it was for his daughter. He wanted to do something for her, so I can see the will to go through that.
Yeah,
and it's
I think
But he
released.
didn't actually change the character Link,
No,
right? So
no, it's still-
I guess he just assumed that Link was feminine looking enough for the girl to kind of go along with
Sure.
Why
to
not?
believe that.
I agree.
You know what?
In
I'll
Wind
go with
Waker,
that.
yes.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really nice gesture that he did, but he also introduced his daughter to lesbianism.
oh yeah, there's always
what are you
always a
talking about?
romance between Zelda and Link. Like,
Not to me.
First of all, there's almost no romance in any Zelda game. I mean, it's not saving your girlfriend. I mean, we could talk to SK about that. He would know because he's got one.
Yeah, that's right. At least I got a girlfriend.
Yeah, but it's about saving the princess, and anybody can save a princess. And plus, it's about your individual values. Do you
Right.
name another
think
game
introducing
where a chick
3-year-old
saves a
to
princess.
lesbianism? I mean, a lot of 3-year-olds are raised by 2 mothers or 2 fathers. So really, it's not. In my mind, that's not an issue.
The only hint of romance I ever got from a Zelda game between Link and Zelda was in 2 when the curtain closes in the ending and it looks like their 2 characters went closer together, like they embraced or something behind the.
As the curtain closes,
But
yeah.
that's the
So-
only hint of a romance I got between.
So you
Link
think
and
that
Zelda.
Link's just doing this out of the good nature of his heart?
I would
and
like to
nothing
think
else?
so. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a nice reward for Zelda to
Well,
give
I'm
it up
not-
to
I'm
him
not
as
talking
a
about a
result of all
reward.
the danger he went through. But I mean,
I'm saying that he didn't. There is no way that any man would go through that much effort for a girl that he had a platonic relationship with.
I would.
Well,
If one of
any
my
sane
lady
person-
if one of my lady friends was in mortal danger, I would go save her. without expecting
Lantis,
any kind of.
If you were in danger, I would save you and not want anything in return.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
I would hope so.
Dre, what are you saying?
I would take you to a bar. We could freaking out buy you a drink. I mean,
Dre, you had something?
I would like to point out Princess Ruto in Ocarina of Time.
Oh man, she wanted to jump Link's bone so bad.
Yeah, okay, I'll admit there was some kind of nasty
Link,
stuff happening there, but
if Link was a girl,
it was one way.
If Link was a girl, then Link and Princess Ruto.
Oh god, she wanted that Master Sword something fierce.
because she loves my Master Sword.
But I'm just saying, the whole love affair there was pretty much one way. Link was just doing it because he wanted to be helpful.
I really have a hard time thinking that it was just from good nature and nothing else.
So you really think that Link had the hots for Ruto?
I meant for Zelda. I think that he had to have some feelings for her. Had to. There's no
then
way
explain
he didn't.
Ruto.
But in most of the games,
Well-
isn't it true that he's never even met her yet before he goes on a quest to save her? How can you be in love with somebody you haven't actually...
And he's saving the princess of his that's like saving the president.
No. First of all, Zelda rules Hyrule. Link is not from Hyrule. He's from the Kakariko village. That's a completely
In
different...
one game.
I don't think King Hyrule
Okay,
rules
am I
the
an
Kakariko.
idiot, or isn't every land in Ocarina of Time, every section of the land, like, under one name, Hyrule? Is it Hyrule?
I don't think, like, I thought Hyrule, like, the King Hyrule only had, like, sway over, maybe...
Like the capital?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, he doesn't have any say of what the Gorons do, or what
Okay, well, yeah.
And there's a king
I
over the
guess.
Zora realm. There's
Yeah.
King Zora.
Yeah, the Zora realm has their own
Right.
royalty.
This is a complete, it's separated.
Well, maybe it's like every person who rules over every individual realm is like
and
the mayor.
You know who ruled the Kakariko?
And the king is over everything.
Not the Kakariko. The
Kokiri?
Kokiri, thank you. That's really bad that they have a Kakariko village in the Kokiri forest. But the Deku tree was what ruled over the Kokiri village. Like, it's...
he was the sovereign, I guess.
Right. So, like, the fact that Link shouldn't care one way or another, really, over Zelda, then, if that's the case. It's not doing it...
Actually, we're way off topic. Let's...
I don't know anything about these Zelda games. I'm learning so much more from what you guys are saying now than I had known ever. The only Zelda I liked was A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. Those two... and the Game Boy Color. Those ones were great.
I disagree.
What was the Game Boy Color version?
It was
Oracle of
there were
Ages
two.
and Seasons.
They were made by Capcom.
Those
yeah, we
two.
played those.
Yeah, we did. Just once
I
because I
liked those.
didn't like them too much.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
They were okay, I guess. I mean, they weren't bad.
To this date, I have played every single Zelda game that has ever released.
My wife has played more Zelda than me.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
Like me and SK
you guys
actually.
know she's not a big a gamer as I am.
Does she
but
want Link's
in
Master
the
Sword?
Zelda- That could be why. I'll have to ask her about that another time.
But
and then you should be jealous over a video game
But,
character
all right,
when she says yes.
To get back on topic,
Of course.
I think this is going to be. I think that this little girl, this little 3-year-old girl, when she grows up, is going to piss off a lot of gamers. Be like, no, Link's a girl.
I'm telling you.
Be like,
I have the game at home. You want to come play?
Look, no, Link's totally a girl going to save a princess.
She's. Oh man, now she's gonna have gender identity issues.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Oh wow, I didn't think about the implications.
She's not gonna know how to relate him. Yeah. But anyway, overall, a 3 clap for that father and what he's doing for his daughter.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
Yeah,
Are we actually gonna clap or
no?
And
somebody did. I don't know who it was.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
X.
But really, we're going crazy with it, and this is outrageous stuff we're saying. But come on, that's really cool of him. So
yeah,
I'm proud of that guy for what he did.
Yeah, at least he's there for her.
Maybe he was just really bored and was like, you know what? I could go ahead and hex edit this entire game to say she instead of he.
Yeah.
He just needed something to do.
And the patch is online.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's it. He released it. I
Who's
don't
gonna
have the link
care
to it,
that
but he released
much to actually go download and install a patch and play it on a working Dolphin emulator.
I would,
Some people.
but you already know my history, so
Well,
it makes sense
yeah.
for me.
Right.
That's how little
And,
up to
Wait,
date on the
I
news
take
I
it back.
am.
This is Wind Waker we're talking about. Never mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
While he was there, could he at least not make it to where it cost money to translate the
Yeah,
patches?
really. Oh
the-
god,
the
that
charts for
quest
Tingle?
sucked.
Like, say, I mean, you were already there. I think that's a much more noble quest to fix Wind Waker of Tingle than it is to change Link's gender.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mm.
I would rather they have actually had, actual separate dungeons for getting every Triforce piece instead of doing the ridiculous side quests that you had to do in order to get
I
them.
know.
Just finding them in the land somewhere. It sucked.
So is the Triforce piece like the Vault Key?
Kind of.
We'll tell you about
Is
it
it-
after the MagCast.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So move it along, you guys.
Alright, PlayStation Magazine
So-
is gone?
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's how not up to date I am on the news. I used to read that all the time.
Yep, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it hasn't been PlayStation Magazine for a few years.
Okay, well, no wonder I forgot about it then, because it
Yeah.
changed names.
I think OPM went out of print a few years before this, and then PlayStation or Sony was like, "Hey, now you're official."
Oh.
So they changed the name to PlayStation the Official Magazine, where now they're less funny and more serious and official.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
I used
anymore.
to get PSM.
Wait.
Yeah.
I used to get PSM all the time. Back in the day, that was I had PSM.
Oh, yeah.
I had Game Pro.
And
Yeah.
there's that one guy who reminded me, I don't know his name or the person he reminds me of's name, from Harry Potter, the guy with the googly eye. He looks like that.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
My wife would know.
Mad Eye Moody.
I've seen Harry Potter because of her. Mad Eye, yeah. So he looks like that guy. In the first year of PSM, there was an editor who looks just like him. Every time I see that guy, I'm like, oh, he used to work at PSM.
Okay, wait,
So, yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Like, way back in the day, before we started, using Amazon and eBay and stuff to shop for everything, wasn't that the magazine that always had, like, the items, like, stuff like Japanese animation and video game music CDs in the back, like, for sale?
A lot of magazines had that.
And you
I
actually
know-
you actually had to call a phone line called Game Cave in order to order them.
Yeah, I know that
Man.
Game Pro and Game.
I think Tips and Tricks did it.
I also
Tips and
remember
Tricks did it,
that
too.
was how I first found out about like the first anime I ever bought, Evangelion.
Ah!
Evangelion. Up the freaking
Except we hate it now.
yeah. Just because the nosedive is no, we can't. Sorry. That's
No,
That's-
let's not get into either.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
That could be an episode.
I also
Yeah,
just
so
want to say
it's
that
a
was
sad day for print media.
But
that was like the magazine I told Jay about like a long time ago. It was like when he was talking about how hot Aya from Parasite Eve was. I was like, I had a PSM magazine back in the day, and when they had a print ad in the magazine for Parasite Eve, which was coming out the next year, it was like a picture of Aya all sexy, like holding her gun, and all she was wearing was
Right.
her jacket. So like you got a good glimpse
I've
of
seen that.
you got a good glimpse of side boob.
So you got
there.
side
Yeah.
boob.
Yeah.
It's like
I
she wasn't
remember
wearing she wasn't wearing a shirt underneath, and I actually looked it up
I
in
remember
Google
8th
image
grade.
search.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? Even
definitely remember that.
Even back then,
And some
that
dude in
wasn't
my
as-
art class actually drew that when he saw me reading that magazine. He goes, "Whoa, who's that girl?" And I was like, well, it's just in some games that's coming out." He goes, "Hey, can I borrow that magazine?" He used like the whole art period to like redraw
Wow.
her.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And honestly, this was back that review I did of Parasite Eve 3. I made a huge point where they sexualized her,
Yeah.
like that's not as bad as what they did in Parasite Eve 3.
oh
Like,
yeah,
that was almost tasteful in comparison. Like,
it was.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, that's like the only sexy image of her that was ever published.
the rest is just ridiculous. Like I mentioned this in the review, but she takes battle damage and she just starts losing chunks of her clothes.
Oh, why?
Until all she's like wearing is rags of what used to be like a denim pants and a jacket.
Well, it's because
It's for realism.
women don't take battle damage; they take clothes damage.
Yes.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I need a denim IV stat.
Oh man. So Skyrim, guys, you guys still playing? It's been out for 1 year as of today. Today's
Really?
its 1 year birthday.
It's been
Yes.
Skyrim's been out for a year.
Today's its 1 year birthday. Yes.
Wow.
Anybody still playing it?
haven't
The
even
guy
started.
a guy I work with does nothing but tell me about Skyrim. So actually, whatever I know about it is through.
Dude, yesterday I spent 3 hours walking and looting random houses. It was awesome.
Okay, so Lantis doesn't play it.
Nah, I don't either.
Yeah. I've put probably about 300 hours into it
Oh, God.
over the year.
Dude, if you put that time
and-
into a Disgaea game,
Oh, I wish I could. Yeah.
well, you could.
But
If you could do
Skyrim's
it
in
for
the way of
Skyrim, you could do it for Disgaea.
I know. So, but I haven't played it recently. I'm interested in the DLC because there's a really nice DLC coming out, but I'm not going to get into that because we already talked about it.
Right.
But speaking of DLC, Skyrim has had issues getting DLC on the PlayStation 3. In the point I'm making is they haven't gotten a single piece of DLC out for the PlayStation 3, and they're already on their third DLC coming to the Xbox.
Oh, I'd be so upset if I bought for PS3.
Yeah, and a lot of people are upset. And
Rightfully so.
one thing though is Bethesda tweeted yesterday to update. Quote, to update. We're also close to new Skyrim content for PlayStation 3 and PC. End quote.
What do you mean?
So I wonder, is that current DLC that's already out that they couldn't make work for the PS3, or did they say screw it, let's surprise them with brand new DLC exclusive to the PlayStation 3 as an apology?
Surprise them? That's gonna make them even more angry that they just decided, nah, screw it. We're not gonna release it after all. Just screw it.
Well, the thing is, they've already said they're having a lot of issues even getting it to run on the PlayStation
They should.
3.
You mean they
So-
didn't test that before?
Nope.
Oh,
They built it
For
for the Xbox,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did that.
which was easy to send to the PC, and the PC has a couple of them, not all of them, and impossible to send to the PlayStation 3. The Skyrim itself was difficult to put on PlayStation 3 because they didn't build it for that system in mind, and that was their mistake. So really, it's Bethesda's bad all around. Bethesda's bad. But I'm curious about what that DLC actually is. Is it current DLC, or did they say since we can't get this stuff to work and we don't want to spend all the time rewriting it, do we just put out something quick and fast just to say sorry?
They should put
So
out.
we'll find out soon.
well, are they gonna make it for free?
They should make
No.
every single bit
That's what I'm hoping.
of DLC for PS3 free.
I think they
For
should
free.
rebuild all of it for PlayStation 3 and sell it at least half cost to free. I mean, Hearthfire, free, absolutely. The new one coming out, they hopefully built it. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Maybe they realized their issue and built the new DLC
Well, I'm just
with
saying,
the PlayStation 3 in
if
mind.
this was like, a respectable company like Valve, which
Or Square.
Well,
Oh wait, I forgot.
no, if this is a respectable company, first off, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. They would have tested
Yes.
it and it wouldn't have happened. But second of all,
Yes.
they would make it up. They would make it up for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like Xbox, Valve actually fought Microsoft to get free content on Xbox Live Marketplace, but Microsoft just wasn't having none of that. So,
Yeah.
but it's just
It's disappointing,
yeah,
really.
yeah, pretty much. That's all you can really say. It's just a very disappointing situation.
Yeah, I mean, really, they should have that in their minds. Hey, we have a game on this system. Let's test it as we build. But instead, they just built and tested on 360, and at the end, oh, whoa, what's this over here? Sony has a console? What? Just outrageous.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable,
Truly
really.
outrageous. Truly.
Truly, truly, truly.
Oh,
outrageous.
really, Jim? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So moving along, Anarchy Reigns. Anybody know about this game?
I know very
Never heard
little
of it.
about it. It's
So it's a game from Platinum Games and Sega, where it is literally just a post-apocalyptic world, and it's an over-the-top brawler. It is just a fun-looking game, kind of like that. Oh, geez, I just forgot the name of it, and I was going to bring it up. The that shooter where it's a first-person shooter, and all you do is replay levels for high score. It's just fun for the sake of fun.
Are you
it
talking
wasn't
about
trying to accomplish?
Are you talking
anything.
about a particular type of game that's like that,
No, there's a
or a specific?
No, it's a specific. It's a specific game.
Are you talking
and it
about
had-
Serious Sam?
No. But anyway, so Serious Sam's a good example. Just fun for the sake of fun, but Serious Sam takes itself serious enough to know it's a game
Right,
and builds levels
yeah.
and builds upon itself. Anarchy Reigns is just a crazy brawler. It's just a big beat 'em up. And I'm only excited about this game because they're doing something very smart, considering that it's not a AAA title to begin with, so they don't have to recoup as many losses, and they know it won't sell well at a high price point. They're launching this game day one at a $30 price point.
$30?
And as a retail environment, that's like, what? So I'm excited about it for that reason, mainly because it was a smart business move, and I'd like to see other companies follow along and price their games based on the content, not based on it's a disc, so $60.
Right. but to sweeten the deal, they know how to get under they know how to, get right to my, wallet, because they want to offer Bayonetta as a playable character if you pre-order. And I love me some
Yes.
Bayonetta.
Yes, that is very, very cool.
I would
'cause,
like Bayonetta if her nature just didn't like horrify me so easily. Everything about that woman is just wrong. But there's something I can't get past about playing Bayonetta. Other than that, I mean, I admit the fighting is spectacular.
Oh gosh,
but it was
that sounds
just
so good.
everything about her just got under my skin.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Everything
Hey.
she
I
said,
thought she
every
was- I thought
evil
she was-
demonic attack she did would just horrify me. And I know it's not supposed to be serious. I know.
It's hilarious.
SK,
I love it.
Yeah.
Is it because Bayonetta 2 is going to be on the Wii U? Is that it?
Oh no,
Is that why you're so
I
mad?
promise, it's nothing like that.
No, it's just
Okay.
that she's.
Let's just say she's not the kind of girl I would protect anyway. if she even needed it.
No, she's got to be in a frilly dress and she's got to speak proper English.
Oh, but
and gotta be revered.
I admit, I totally understand that it was just supposed to be outrageous humor. Like when she's in the nun's outfit at the beginning of the game and the demons attack and they just so happen to slice her so shallowly that it just tears her clothes.
Clothes
And
damage.
she was making like sex noises
Close
while
damage.
she was making like, sex noises while the demons were
It's like
attacking
she'd
her.
get cut, lose a bit of clothes. She's like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I admit, I laughed at that. I mean, I got that it was supposed to be funny.
That was in stereo.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Awesome.
you're saying Anarchy Reigns is it's got like a top-down view?
Oh, no.
No, it's
Well,
over
Not
the
over
top.
the top in that manner. Over the top in it's a ridiculous
Oh,
game.
oh,
it
that's-
knows
oh,
it's
okay.
ridiculous and it embraces that.
That might be something to get.
So
man.
it could be. I'm gonna be watching it. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna pre-order it because I don't know yet. It's been out in Japan for a while and it's been pushed back. People actually thought it was gonna come out in 2013, but it looks like it's gonna come out this month. So hopefully it actually will. So good luck to them. And that was a smart move on Sega
it should,
to price it at $30.
they should make it come out on the Wii U too.
Yeah, that would be also
Come on,
smart.
Bayonetta
Is
too.
putting it on the Wii U.
I've actually played with the Wii U a little bit.
Oh, really?
The wife at GameStop was like, "Hey, we got a Wii U up here for display."
Right.
Oh,
So,
You went in and played it.
yeah. The controller feels like, even though it's bulky as hell, like it just feels massive in your hand. But the buttons layout, it actually feels like a controller, and I'm much, much happier with it.
oh,
Good.
good job.
So Ix has something he'd like to share with all of us.
Oh, it's my time to shine.
Absolutely.
Hey, was that a Threads of Fate reference?
No,
It better have been.
I haven't played that.
Oh,
well,
I know
me and SK are sitting there laughing over completely different
yeah.
reasons.
Well, okay. Ix, if I may just say right quick, it's an old game. It's like an action RPG. It's on PlayStation 1. I highly recommend it. Threads of Fate.
Threads of Fate was actually a game released
Yes.
on Square Summer of
Dew
Arcade,
Prism.
along with
Oh, really?
Vagrant Story
Huh.
and another game I can't remember, but it was actually kind of released in one summer, and it was Square Summer, or summer release, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I love Threads of Fate. I used to have it. It's great.
Oh, I still
Oh,
got
so
it.
Insulted knows what we're talking about.
Dude, we
How
need to
Duke would
LP that
say,
sometime.
"It's my time to shine."
Yeah.
Duke and all of his.
That dude was so funny with all his costumes he kept fighting you with.
All right, Eggs, go ahead.
Okay.
So, Dude Bro 2 is almost here.
Man. And me and Ix were really hyped about this game in the past. From the day we heard about it, we've always been...
Wasn't this 4 years ago?
It was
Yes.
3 years ago, actually.
3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago, a forum called NeoGaf had this topic where somebody was talking about imagines babies, and it just got like, people just started making images about this guy saying, "Dude, bro, my S is effed up, so I got to shoot/slice you too. It's straight up dog time."
Which is the full name of the game that's coming out.
Full name.
That's the full name.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. That's the name of the game that's coming out, yeah.
That's the entire name. And they started with the second one because everybody knows that the second one's better than the first one.
Yep, that's...
Always. Sequels are always better.
So Dude Bro 2
release
is the
is
first
the sequel.
game.
But it's the sequel.
So it's better.
So it's automatically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You should see SK's face.
That's pure marketing genius. Although it's an unusual
Yes.
unusual tactic, but I'm sure it will work.
Smart.
yeah, so, the game is like, sort of like Contra, sort of like Duke Nukem,
Yeah.
and really it's just, it looks really, really fun. It's an indie game.
Yeah, I'm really
getting
excited for
I'm
it.
absolutely getting
There's
it.
a trailer that we will put a link to, but that trailer gives me the impression that it is an early Duke Nukem, Contra, and SNES were all in an orgy, and months later, the SNES still isn't sure who the father is.
Well, honestly, did you ever play the original Duke Nukem?
Yeah, that's where I got that.
Because Duke
idea
Nukem
from.
was originally a side scroller. So
Yes. The original Duke Nukem is really awesome, and I can't remember the name of that scientist bad guy, but
Oh,
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah. I actually think that you can get that original Duke Nukem on Good Old Games. I know for a fact they have they have Duke Nukem 3D available right now. It's about $5,
Yeah, well,
which is not bad for a wonderful Duke Nukem
Yeah, well,
game.
that's more traditional Duke.
Yeah,
Duke Nukem
the old
3D,
school
yeah.
Duke.
I came in on
the-
Duke Nukem 3D.
Right. Well, that's
Yeah,
where
that
most
was
people come in.
That was the first Duke for me as well, and I went back after seeing that, and
It was hard.
I loved Duke Nukem 3D. So it's on Good Old Games, and speaking of Good Old Games, they've recently added Mac support, not for all their games, but for 50 titles right now. 8 of them are free just for signing up with a Mac.
Yep.
So they're trying to push the whole Macs are not a place where games are. They're trying to push that aside. Steam is also doing that with Mac. Steam is on Mac as well.
Which came with Portal for free when that
Oh,
was
snap,
announced.
yo. I have to interrupt y'all because I don't care what you're talking about. But I just went to
Okay.
good old gamer, or gamers, whatever.
God.
Good old GOG.com.
Yeah, GOG.com. Let's say that. I just saw Theme Hospital on this mug.
Yep.
$6. Theme Hospital is so good. Holy crap.
And I just want to say, sign up right while you're there. They're not giving us money, but sign up to goodoldgames.com and they will give you 10 free games right now. Yes.
Wait,
Go
did
there,
you just
sign up
like
right now,
phonically
10
read
free
the
games.
URL?
I think he did.
It's
That must have been where his eyes drifted while that happened.
It's sort of like, Sega!
Sega!
Yeah.
Like, Gaga!
So I'm really happy about Good Old Games doing what they're doing.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm
And
gonna get- I'm
Steam,
gonna
not
get
to
it.
be outshined, Steam is now accepting beta requests to run Steam on Linux. A lot of gamers that want to be on Linux still have Windows machines because you can't game on Linux, really. I mean, Windows is the PC gaming experience. It is the place to play games if you're not on a console. So
Yeah.
it looks like that's on the way out with Good Old
And-
Games and
and
Steam
I-
trying to change this.
While I am a PC man through and through, I am fully
Sure.
supportive of this because I would love to get more, PCers, more gamers
Open
in
the
general,
market. Yeah.
Just, people that are just, hey, blindsided themselves by limiting themselves to only using Macs. while that's a stupid move, I still want them to be able to get in on games,
Right. And we just hit the hour mark, but we're going to still push on through. We have a couple of things to say about Nintendo and about the Wii U.
Yeah. Here's what I have to say. Quote, end quote.
Yes, that was him applauding them.
No, that was...
with his fist.
Oh, he actually was.
That was a face palm.
I know. I heard it. I heard it. So the Wii U online chat. So a month ago, maybe it was actually 6 weeks ago. I think it was Capcom that came out saying, "Hey guys, we have games that are online, yet we don't know how to put them online yet because Nintendo hasn't told us." So 6 weeks before launch,
Yeah.
developers don't even know yet how to do online because Nintendo hasn't told them. Nintendo is messing up. They are not informing the consumers. They are not informing their investors. They are not informing the developers who are making games for the console that comes out in 1 week. Literally a
Which
week
I forgot
from
that
today.
came out next week.
Pre-order now.
Gamers don't know. We had to look that up because we're like, yeah, so the Wii U.
That's a thing.
Oh, man.
It's coming out.
They are not handling this well. And the biggest example I have in front of me now is the online chat.
So
Nintendo is going to allow you to chat while you're in game, right? That's great. I mean, they're coming to the future.
About time. No, not coming to the future. They're coming to the present.
they're coming to 8 years ago with the original Xbox.
Yeah.
Come on. The Dreamcast even. The Dreamcast, didn't it? No, that was just
Well,
C-Man.
it had a microphone, but yeah.
Yeah, that was just C-Man.
Yeah.
Maybe it was supported on Madden. Who
Freaking
knows?
Seaman. Oh,
Yeah.
that game.
I always say C-Man because of that.
Oh, because let's just say
because it sounds differently.
Seaman.
Because. Anyway, so yeah. So Nintendo is going to let you chat online, but Nintendo will not be making any headsets. You would think that's because the gamepad has a built-in microphone, but you can't use the built-in microphone on the gamepad to chat online during gameplay.
You can't use
Instead,
the built-in
you can't use the
microphone
built-in- on the controller.
on the controller you're using to communicate with gamers.
And it's there for what then?
It's there for gaming. Like you could voice activate things in the game,
Right.
but you can't use it
and
to talk.
possibly that microphone is also there for, you remember the E3 commercials where the guy's talking to his grandpa? He might have been using that microphone. We don't know. We don't know what he was using to communicate. He might have been using the built-in microphone for the out-of-game Wii to Wii chat. Sorry, Wii U to Wii U chat. We don't know yet because it comes out in a week and everything is a mystery.
Yeah, I think this will be the first launch where we find out everything after his launch.
Yeah, we're going to find out a week after launch what the system
and yet
does.
people are still pre-ordering the system.
It's Nintendo. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
well,
If
No, I'm not gonna accept that. I mean, how can you be so interested in a console that you know nothing about? Like, all you get is a basic kind of list of the games that are going to release, and that's it. And that list wasn't even that
a picture
good.
of the gamepad.
Yeah.
Yeah. A picture of the gamepad and several trailers of a few games.
Until I actually played the Wii U at GameStop, I remember holding the controller in my hand, looking down at the console and went, huh, that's what it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. They have done a really terrible job of telling us that this is a brand new system. They've always shown the controller right in the front of your face, but they didn't show that the console was, there. So it's like, oh, well, that's also the new Wii controller.
That's what people think. They think the Wii U is a controller add-on like the Wii Fit pad. The Wii Fit balance board,
Basically, it's just a marketing blunder. That's all it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
a horrible
You
blunder.
remember at E3 when Nintendo really didn't talk about what they were doing with like games and stuff? People were saying, oh, that's probably because they want third-party games to shine, because otherwise Nintendo would outshine them. Well, now it's more like because Nintendo is screwing up.
Well, I don't think it's them screwing up as much as it is them just not caring. Because they are too busy. I've said this so many times. I just got to say it again. They're too busy swimming around in their Scrooge McDuck money bins to care.
Actually, I haven't heard you say that yet.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're too busy swan diving off the diving board into a giant bin of money, and they just can't be bothered to care.
How do they not look at their console in development and say, you know what? We want voice chat, and people are going to chat in games because they're doing it on Xbox. That's the reason Xbox Live is the place to be if you're playing games online, is because of the wonderful support that they give you, the wonderful tools and features that they give you. And by give, I mean you buy. But that's aside from the points. Yeah, it is worth it.
Nintendo should have been looking hard at Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Horde? So Horde.
So
Horde.
I mean, so they copied the 360 controller, and that's a good thing. I have a couple things to say about that controller, but sticking to the chat part, the 360 controller has a jack, an audio jack, a headphone jack. You can plug in a microphone and a headset.
Mm-hmm.
They neglected to copy that. So now if you want to play online in Call of Duty, which is a launch title, you will have to wear a headset, plug the headset into the gamepad, put the gamepad in your lap, and play with the Pro controller in your hands. What ridiculous setup is this? How do they think that that's a good thing?
Womp, 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 womp.
Outrageous.
Was that a...
And another thing they copied was they put triggers on it.
Yep.
Right? Triggers are great. Hydro Thunder on Dreamcast sold me on triggers, analog triggers. I was at a Kmart playing it. Like, oh my god, this is the future of gaming right
OMG,
here.
you still
Not the
shop
game,
at Kmart?
but analog triggers. Because in a racing game, I could finally say, I'm going this fast. I'm slowing down and not braking and skidding out of control. It was wonderful.
Power sliding noob. Learn how to play.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nintendo finally caught up to triggers, right? No. They are physical clickable buttons that you have to press halfway before a click.
Oh, so
it's
they
like
are not
the GameCube
analog.
are now?
So they're not analog. No, isn't the Xbox? No, they're not either. Are they? I can't think of
on Xbox. They're analog.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, they're analog. I was thinking, yeah, you could completely half throttle stuff.
Yeah, on 360, I don't know if this was something that was talked about before the game came or the system came out, or if it was scrapped, or if it is a thing. They were even saying when the 360 was new that they were going to make every face button, well, those 4, analog. So you press harder on A and you jump higher.
PS2
I don't know if they did that or not.
are analog.
Yeah,
okay, so there you go. The PlayStation 2 has analog buttons.
The buttons are analog.
Which I don't really find all that useful because there's such a little space that they press in. It's like, how do you...
Yes, I agree.
Well,
that's why triggers were the future.
The only time I really noticed it was in Grand Theft Auto 3, but they're absolutely analog buttons, so that's a thing.
Yeah. So I wish that they, instead of using the 360 triggers, they used the PlayStation R1, R2 that are just buttons, because they're buttons. So now I have to press the button further. So when you're playing Call of Duty, you're going to have to hold the button right before the click. Otherwise, you're going to shoot too late.
Yeah.
Because you have to make that...
Again, I'd like to make some... It sounds similar to the shoulder buttons on the GameCube controller.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
GameCube controller,
GameCube.
It went in so far before the click,
Yeah.
Okay,
it was actually...
They messed
It was
up.
more than halfway, too. You had to take that button way down before you got to the click.
Because the shoulder buttons happen to be analog, and it's like they put analog and digital in the same button.
Yeah, and the digital, if it's supposed to be a game that's going to use the button, the L and R is a digital button.
As a digital hit?
Yeah, you got to sit there and just hold it down all the way down.
Stupid.
Because, let's just admit, out of all the consoles that have ever existed, I think the GameCube has the biggest, bulkiest, chunkiest shoulder buttons ever.
The GameCube has a funky looking controller too.
Nintendo.
Just looking at it, it just looks
come on.
interesting.
Since SNES, all of Nintendo's controllers were funky, and that's just being polite.
Yeah,
but you know what? They've always been extremely comfortable.
Yeah,
I disagree. 'cause
disagree.
I have a lot to say negative about the 64 controller,
Really?
but let's stick to the Wii U for
have
now.
you ever played a GameCube or a Wii game where you had to play it sideways, and you actually holding that thing sideways felt terrible, and it's even worse if you have the one-to-one attachment.
I retract.
In the hands of an adult, holding it sideways sucks.
I retract that, then.
Yeah.
Good.
Actually, I
And,
found the GameCube controller comfortable. I just want to throw that out there.
Well,
It was
Okay.
perfectly comfortable to me.
And naming the Wii U as Wii U places so much emphasis on Wii that people are assuming it's an add-on.
Yep.
Because it's Wii U. So just like a Wii controller, a Wii Mote, a Wii nunchuck.
yeah, actually, this is the
That
first
is-
time they've actually had a sequel console
No, it's not.
since SNES.
No, it is not.
Yeah. Super Nintendo.
Oh, since the
Oh,
SNES.
yeah.
Good clarifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And-
maybe you should let me
And-
finish.
and they should have named it appropriately. They should not have called it the Wii U because it sounds like it's part of the
I should have
Wii.
called it Super Wii. That would have been. I would have been okay
Yeah.
with that. Super Wii.
Everybody
Absolutely.
in here, I think, would have been fine with them calling it the Super Wii.
The SWii.
Yes. Honestly,
The
if it was
Swii!
called the,
The
Super
Swii.
if it was called the Super Wii, I would probably buy one. Just on like, oh my god, Super Nintendo. I love Super Nintendo. Yes, they're doing it again. It's going to be awesome.
See,
And
Well,
if they
it
called
is
it the
the
Super
third
Wii,
best console of all time.
Like in it, that's
It
a
was.
nice little thing to call it because people call it SNES a SNES. I'd love to call it a Swii. In fact, you know what? I'm going to call it a Swii from here on out. It's not Wii U anymore. It's Swii.
SWii.
that's a compliment. I can't compliment it.
Uh, yeah. That's giving it a bit too much credit.
Well, it's
Yeah, I can't do that yet.
all right. Fair enough.
But if they name it the Super Wii, I mean they're not going to, but had they, then they could have said, okay, everybody who's coming back because it reminds you of your Super Nintendo, and everybody who has been out of gaming is coming back to gaming and getting reintroduced. Bundle it with Super Mario All Stars plus Super Mario World. Bundle it with a couple Super Mario Kart. Bundle it with those games that they grew up on, and sell the SNES ROMs at a clean server, and the store looks nice and clean. Add online multiplayer to every SNES game that has console
Yes.
multiplayer. Yes, and price them intelligently. Price the games individually, not like, oh, it's an SNES ROM, so that's a $10 game
My-
because it's the SNES.
my butthole.
right.
Yeah, they need to start at 50 cents and prove that they're worth $10.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Though,
speaking
I
of
mean,
$10 games, on Super Nintendo, real quick, Xbox Live Arcade just got Toe Jam and Earl and Toe Jam and Earl 2 for $10 in a single bundle download. Very
so
cool.
both for $5.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Does it have
both
does
are
it have
10.
online?
$5 each.
Co-op online?
I don't know if it works online. I just downloaded the trial before doing this show.
If it's got co-op online, I'm sold.
Yes. So I'm going to find that out, and I hope you find that out too. I'm actually going to be going to work soon, so I won't find out
Right.
tonight.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
just like things like all the tools now, like they could have Super Wiimotes or Super Gamepad.
Well, the Pro controller is good enough to use as an SNES controller. I mean, it has all the
The
buttons. it
Super
needs.
Pro
absolutely.
controller.
And plus, you're right. They could sell a Super controller, a Super Wii controller, just like they have been doing. I mean, come on, they can do that too and make even more money. Just
Absolutely.
make it an SNES emulation machine in a smart way. It'll bring you a lot of new gamers, and then do what you're already trying to do with the Pro controller and Call of Duty, and grab those mainstream gamers that you want.
I'm just going to
Name
throw
it the
this out
Super
there.
Wii.
If
You've done it.
if you put online co-op in your SNES ROMs that you
I'll
sell,
buy
Oh,
so
man.
many.
look, I
That alone.
have spent $0, not a single cent on Virtual Console. If you added it where I could play any of the games that you offer online with other people, I would have given you so much money, Nintendo. So much money.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Give
I
me
would drop,
that.
like,
It
I would drop
honestly
hundreds of
seems
dollars.
like a no-brainer by now.
Yeah, it does. But again, Nintendo.
How have they not done this? I know that Sega's been doing it because they're releasing the Sega Virtual Console line of gaming, which is part of this too. Where if you buy them on the PlayStation or on the Xbox, it runs on that SVC emulator essentially, and it has that overlay screen where you pop it open and it gives you menus on top of the original start menu.
Right.
Sometimes those games include online multiplayer. I'm really hoping Toe Jam and Earl does. And if Sega's doing it, Nintendo sure as hell can do it.
Well, you say that, but again, they have to care enough to do it. And that's if they that's assuming they put the effort into it between breaths from coming up from their
giant money bin.
Their money bin swimming.
Oh yeah, from their pool of money they're swimming in. Man, those guys are jerks. I mean, I want to give them my money, but they're not proving that they deserve it.
Well, they don't need it, obviously.
They don't even need it, buddy.
Man.
But I will eventually get a Wii U or a Swii.
Yeah.
I'll get a Swii one day.
If they put out a Swii, I will. Sega just put out a handheld Genesis console. It's available to pre-order on Amazon. It is really cool looking.
Wait a minute.
Very, very cool looking.
Sega's putting out hardware, and this isn't like blowing up.
Well, it's not hardware. They've been doing it forever. They've been doing like Sonic games and keychains kind of a thing. They've been doing those small little Game & Watch style individual ROM Tiger games. You know?
Tiger!
They've been doing that for ages, yeah. They've been doing that for ages.
I didn't know they still were, though. I thought
Genesis.
that was a long time ago.
I thought their hardware division was just
They are still doing
Titanic.
it. The thing, though, Sega's not making it. They just licensed it to another company. So
okay.
there is an officially licensed one available for pre-order on Amazon, and it has 6 face buttons, and it has a nice, well-lit color screen, and it has an SD slot for adding ROMs. I don't know if you can add purchased or your own.
I'm sure
that it comes with 80 games.
Wait, it comes with 80 games?
Yes.
Wow.
It comes with 80 Genesis games, and it is licensed. So that's interesting.
Oh, yes, that's interesting.
I'm more interested in the Neo Geo X or Gold or whatever it's called.
Oh, I can see.
Have you guys seen that console?
No, I haven't seen that at all.
So the Neo Geo handheld console that is a throwback to their old console. I'm probably naming it wrong, but they're the company doing it. It's a handheld console, wonderful color screen, everything's great. Then you place it into a box, close the box, and there are controller ports in the front. You plug in controllers and plug it into the TV, and now it's a full-fledged console. And it's just so cool.
I like that.
So cool.
It's a handheld that you can plug into.
It's like
your
the PSP, yes.
TV at any time,
and then
you can make it a full-fledged console.
It's just an emulation machine for their old games.
Yeah,
but it is really cool looking. It's way too expensive. It's $200.
Oh, that's the catch.
But it is very, very cool looking.
Well, it might be worth $200. I want to see what those games are.
Yeah, so check that out. It's pretty cool.
That is interesting, sir.
Yeah. So, unless anybody else has anything else to add.
Actually, I got a question for Lantis, since we were talking about the Wii U all this time.
Yeah?
What was it in the first place that made you buy a Nintendo Wii all that, whenever you did? I know it was a long time ago. But as much as you griped about it beforehand, and I'm not saying that was unfounded.
No.
What was it in the end that made you decide to buy it? Because I remember you making a topic about it, saying, like, what devilry is this? Lantis bought a Nintendo Wii.
It was Mario Galaxy, Twilight Princess,
So it was just a few particular games.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Finally enough
and that
games
was like the only
justified a purchase.
That was like the only reason I bought a Nintendo GameCube was for the remake of Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4, that port was really good.
Yeah, that was.
The knowledge that Galaxy 2 was coming out. Right. I guess that's about it.
And this might happen for the Wii U to me, because that did not happen to me with the Wii, but it finally did with the GameCube after the GameCube was dead. But there were games that I was like, I really do want to play them, so I'll go ahead and go buy one, even though it's a dead console.
And cheaper.
It was not a day one purchase, so it was not like, I don't know what it launched at, probably $400.
No,
it's $200.
I don't think so. I bought it like a few years after it came out, and it was already down to like $150.
Wow.
The GameCube launched.
I'm not used to consoles not being $300-$400.
No, the GameCube launched at $200.
I'm honestly surprised that the Wii U is coming out as cheaply as it is.
Yeah,
I think they could easily charge $400 for it, and it would still sell just as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it would sell out on day one, even though we know nothing about the console.
Yeah. The main part about that, though, is the controller. The controller's got to be like $100 by itself.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you're supposed apparently most games are going to be able to be controlled by the Wii's nunchuck and stick.
Yeah.
So it's not a requirement, which that's a little disappointing.
And speaking of those controllers, it has backwards compatibility, but have they said if it's full backwards compatibility? Is it hardware? Is it emulation? Because if it's emulation, is it missing out on hardware SNES emulation?
The Wii U has a Wii mode in it. So I think it's the entire Wii OS, and it's just part of the system. So you go to Wii mode, and
and it's not missing any special chips or accelerators or anything stupid like it in the SNES.
Well, it probably doesn't have blast processing.
That's the thing.
Yeah, Sega does.
What Nintendo don't. And that is cancel their entire hardware lineup.
Oh, that never gets old.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if Nintendo actually went third party. Not that they ever will.
No,
but
they won't.
Nintendo, you can say all this stuff about Nintendo, and I swear I say so much stuff about them, even though I try to like them so much. But their monetary stuff
I don't think
is
a
on
single
point.
person has ever been on this podcast that didn't grow up as a Nintendo kid.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
nostalgia.
we've all played our parents and uncles and whatnot Ataris when we were young,
Yeah.
and we may have started there, but we grew up on the NES and SNES.
Actually, I started on the NES.
So
Exactly.
even more so. So I think a
Exactly.
lot of this is just some serious hardcore nostalgia that carries it all, but,
Our feelings are hurt.
and you know what Nintendo says to that? Huh? What? Did you say something? Jingle, jingle, jingle.
They don't care about us
Yeah.
anymore. They care about the people who never played their games.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is seriously a good point. And going back to if they ever went third party, they eventually, I could see a future where Nintendo falls back and still develops their own hardware and their special games, but they aren't competing directly with current consoles.
Well,
I could see a future with that, and they would still dominate the handheld market unless they decide phones are cheaper and they'll just put their games on phones.
If they did that, I would
But-
abandon Nintendo immediately.
Yeah.
Forever?
Oh, I
what?
wouldn't.
I don't think the way it is, it's never going to be. We're never going to have a situation where Nintendo's not in the game. It's always going to be Nintendo and somebody else.
Yes.
Because Nintendo's like
and
Disney.
I say yes to that, not because as in they'll still be included, but as in they won't necessarily be direct competitors. The Wii is not competing with the 360.
You got that
People
right.
keep saying it is.
Right. Yeah. It's
But
a completely different
But
market.
it is not in competition with the 360.
In
Yeah.
fact, it's not in competition with anything, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
the Wii is on its own side of the world. I'm not saying geographically they're in Japan and good for them. I'm saying I'm not saying it literally. I'm saying that they have their own little slice of a pie that no one else has a slice of.
Except everybody copied them.
That's why Xbox did the Kinect, was to compete in the Wii's market,
Yeah.
and that's why the Wii U has a Pro Controller to compete in the Xbox's market. They are separate markets now.
yeah, and it's
They're-
really hard to label exactly what it is. But you're absolutely right. It's just I don't know what it is.
It's still a gaming machine,
Well,
and gamers
I think
like us might play across all of them, but there are some gamers who are strictly
Well-
the Wii style, and some who are strictly the 360 style.
Well, that's like saying how back in the old days, some people were SNES people and some people were Genesis people.
No.
Because back in the day, those consoles were in direct competition.
right. And Genesis does what Nintendo don't, right? Yeah.
They wanted the same
Mudslinging.
people to play.
Well,
Nintendo with the Wii is not after the people who want to play Call of Duty. That's why they're now they've established this market. They got it. They got a hold of it. They're going to keep it through the Wii U. Now that they've built this market, now they're ready to compete with Xbox and are bringing Call of Duty in the Pro
Right.
controller.
yeah, what it was originally, I think what it is, I think Bob Pittman said it the best, is that the PS3 and Xbox are being sold as devices, as computing hardware. You know, it's not
Yeah.
a console, but at
Media
the end of the
machines.
day, the Wii is pretty much just a toy, you know? And they're not afraid to call
Yeah.
it that. You know, it's fine. Like, that's just how they look at
That's
it.
a good way to say, yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're not afraid to call themselves what they are, and it's a toy.
And
Yeah,
Nintendo-
and after Microsoft and Sony were done grabbing the market that they grabbed, and they're seeing Nintendo is successful outside of this, that's why they did Connect. That's why they did PlayStation Move.
Yeah. Well, they saw a market, and they're like, I want a piece of that.
Exactly. There's a new market, and I'm not in it. That's where Connect and PlayStation Move came
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, but they'll still be like, no, we didn't copy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This
And
is
that's-
completely different.
And that's why Nintendo keeps making these different ways to play, because
They're creating
they
markets.
actually construct their own market to get as much money as they can before the other two move and lumber into position to get the crumbs.
Exactly.
No, that's fair
So
enough.
they keep their check account in black, super black,
Yeah. Yeah.
blacker than Black Dynamite.
Dynamite! Bam! Dynamite!
Sequel coming, by the way. Be excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. It makes me wish I had my own riff like that whenever I busted into a room, you know?
Sarah's night! Bam!
I want to see you bust into a room.
I know that wouldn't be very a very
Yeah.
intimidating sight, would it?
I threw that before I came in the room!
Man.
That's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, Faye, we really missed you today.
Yeah, but there's a thing missing. There is a Faye-shaped hole in this podcast.
Yeah.
A
And
face
we only know of one Faye to fit it.
Not even SK could fill it appropriately.
No, you're fine, buddy. But, yeah. So I guess, we're gonna call it here. Be sure to check out the description for links to everything we discussed. And for annotations so you could jump around, which probably should have been mentioned at the beginning, but whatever.
No, I'm pretty sure they stayed around the entire time.
If you did that, thank you. But, we'll be back, eventually, hopefully, with, the full cast next time.
Absolutely.
Alright, well,
See ya.
I'll take it from here, guys.
Okie dokie.
Bye!
Bye. Are we actually putting this in?
I don't know.
I hope not. This is the worst, ending ever. Faye,
So
we
this
need
ending
you!
may suck, but at least I have a girlfriend. And scene.
Da-da-da-da-da.